Welcome to the Jaron Jarvis channel. I am Jaron Jarvis. Today, I would like to introduce to you, Alabama Backwoods Are Deadly and Unexplainable Lies. By the title I am sure you're aware of where I am from. I live in a small town outside of the biggest city in the north side of the state. I have grown up here, and to hear the tales are one thing, but I recently found out they aren't just tales. The reason I put the series? I plan to expose all of our tales, if you will. For as long as I can remember, I have had this fear of the woods. Of course it could be chalked up to fantasy fears, but I know otherwise. When I was younger, 5? Maybe 6? I lived in a town just south of where I am now, and my dad was a roofer. He was a great man, he really was, my best friend. If you can imagine anyone being closer than close, that was us. He hunted and fished and loved the outdoors. He passed away in 2002. That day is burned into my brain, and I'm tortured by the fact I don't have him around now. So before he passed away, our morning routine was I would wake up about 30 minutes before sunrise and we would drink coffee together. If you aren't familiar with the many animals in Alabama we have to offer, I'll clue you in on just a few. Coyotes, foxes, mountain lions, and even black panthers among the usual deer and such. On our mornings sitting out back staring into the shadows of the tree line, I would often see these monsters, if you will. I remember their tall slender bodies, and the darkness they brought wasn't even describable against the already black woods. I would always turn to my daddy and be scared, and he would always seem calm, unbothered. I guess he was acting how a dad should. Until one morning I casually got my daddy's flashlight off the small cooler he had used for his coffee and smokes, and I playfully cut the light on and pointed it to the woods. When I did that, I saw a million beady eyes staring back, all of which different colors. The eyes were everywhere, and suddenly my dad grabbed the light and pulled me close, and right then a loud screeching noise blared from the woods. He rushed me inside and locked the door, and from then on out we never sat outdoors again before sunrise. I heard my dad telling my mom once that I angered them. Who was them exactly? I need to mention my father and mother both have Native American blood in their veins, which passed on to me. My grandmother was full-blooded on my dad's side, so most of the beliefs passed on to me as well. After that instance I never thought much about the eyes. I actually chalked it up to being possums and bats and foxes, and all were just right there in my sight. But I still held that promise I made my dad so many years ago, that I would never disrupt the woods with the light. I am sad to say that tonight I unknowingly did break that promise. For the past month or so I've heard the neighbors' dogs barking and going insane at night. I know how animals work and their night habits, so it didn't bother me until I heard growling by my back door. I heard the neighborhood pups going crazy. I grabbed my light and of course my gun, thinking we had a coyote or a big cat trying to get into the neighbor's chickens. Of course, if you're from the south you know how we work. We protect our land as well as our neighbors if need be. We look out for one another. It's expected if you are from here. I quietly twist the door handle and snuck into the porch. No signs of anything where I had heard it. Cautiously trying to be silent to not scare this animal, I cut the light on, and right at the bottom of my steps I saw a trail, a rather large one at that, leading away from my porch. Not even thinking, I followed the trail down with my light, and before I knew it I hit the woods. The memory of the morning so many years ago came back to me when those eyes met the illumination from my light. I froze in panic and quickly cut the light back off and hurried backwards to my door, not breaking eye contact with the woods, and I heard the deafening screeching sound come again. I came inside and sat down and laughed about it to myself, thinking how I had overreacted, and I decided to muster the courage to walk back outside and take another peek, and when I turned the knob ever so slightly I saw the monster that had haunted my visions for all those years on my porch steps, staring at me with those eyes that could seem to split my body into a million pieces if it wanted. Its body was twisted at an angle to make sure to not break eye contact before I could slam the door. I saw it move in the most disgusting way, like it would have broken every bone with the sudden jerking motion. I shut the door and heard that screech again after I shut the door, and now it's deathly quiet out there. No barking, no crickets, nothing. Just a silence. I don't know if I believe the stories I was told and all the superstitious stuff I had crammed into my brain, but I do know that there is something that lurks down here in Alabama and it doesn't want to be seen. When you do, it disrupts some type of balance. A balance I never intend to break again. I'll consider that my warning and I feel like I need to pass the message along.